So last week, I got to have a pretty cool conversation with Bill Zettler. He is a Seeking Alpha analyst, and he's got some really great articles. What about 350? He's been doing this a long time, and let's have a look here because I got to talk to him. Many of our clients know very well Walmart versus Costco, and we were talking about dividends. You know, our dividend investors. It's always kind of a toss-up between, well, do you want stock growth or big dividends? Well, could you get some growth with dividends? Well, what about dividend growth? Will your dividends grow at the same? So anyway, I'm going to hit play on this. I want to let you listen to this interview we did. It's only a few minutes long, and I really enjoyed this. So here we go. All right, everybody. Good morning. I am here with Bill Zedler, and Bill has written an article on Seeking Alpha. This is part of our Seeking Alpha interview series. This actually has to do with two stocks that a lot of our clients know and like. We're going to be talking about, let me switch over there, Costco versus Walmart. If you're into dividends, which one should you consider most? Now, after I read this article, I kind of went back and compared some of my own notes, and I've got my own opinions on this, but I really like some of the stuff that Bill has put on here. So I thought I would send him a message, and he thought it would be a fun idea. So Bill, thanks for being here today. And why don't you start off for folks who haven't read this? What's the overview of what you came up here with Costco versus Walmart?
Well, we're looking at two companies that are basically do the same thing, and both have been pretty successful in the last few years. Walmart was, of course, a dividend aristocrat, so I look at those a lot. And I thought it'd be interesting to compare the two. I honestly thought that I would come out liking Costco better, but it turns out I like Walmart better. But Costco's good too.
And I think if I'll scroll down to the very bottom here, I think I know why. Why is it that you decided you actually like Walmart better? I believe here down in the conclusion, you mentioned that even though, and I'll show it right here, even though Costco, when I look at their earnings per share right here and their nice increase in dividends with those special dividends.
Yeah, those are nice.
If I remember right, you had said that when it comes to, oops, I guess Walmart got taken off. When it comes to Walmart, you liked that their dividends, correct. Why was it you said you chose Walmart over Costco at the end?
Well, one of the reasons was not the dividend, but mainly that they spent more money buying back shares than they did upping the dividend. And Costco chose to increase dividends or give those special dividends instead of buying shares back. So I kind of like the share buyback thing.
Okay.
That's a big reason.
And for those who don't know at home, share buybacks typically result in an increase in the share value. So is that kind of part of the process that went into your logic there?
Exactly right. You can spend the money on dividends. You can give shareholders dividends, or you can give them fewer shares and increase the capital value theoretically of their holdings.
Okay. And the other thing you had mentioned about Walmart was versus Costco is even though Costco does have a good history, you know, it's tough to argue where Walmart has, and in fact, let me pull it up here. Walmart has, I think you said, what is it, a 40-year history of dividends here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll see all the way back to 1974. Yeah, very interesting. So, you know, one of the things about Costco, Bill, now, granted, this isn't so much with dividends. How do you value Walmart versus Costco when you're looking at their revenue stream, where it looks like Costco is really killing it on their subscription model, if you will, their membership subscription model versus Walmart, which is still just kind of a traditional retailer? How do you think that those are going to affect any performance in these companies going forward?
Well, you know that Walmart has just recently started their $39 annual fee, and they'll ship everything for free. So it's kind of like the Amazon model.
Okay.
So that's going to be a plus. And of course, Walmart is the second biggest online retailer next to Amazon in the US. And they also have significantly higher gross margins, which I was surprised at. So the gross margins is an important item for me. I always look at that.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard that Costco, and I've seen this in their various shareholder quarterly present slideshows, that their margins are a little thinner because they prefer to get the highest quality whatever product it is they're selling, whether it's a chips or a lamp or whatever it might be. And from what I've ever heard, and my wife included, she says, I've never ever bought anything at Costco that wasn't just amazing. So perhaps that
Yeah,
they're
I've heard
giving up a
people say
little bit
that
on the
too.
profit margin there.
Yeah, yeah, but it does hurt the margins, and whether that's a long-term issue or not, I'm not sure. But I look at that all the time.
Okay. Okay. Now, one other thing you had mentioned here, let me find it as I was scrolling through this article. Um, well, yes. Okay. So you had mentioned, and I'll click back over right here. Costco is increasing its dividend faster than Walmart. Um, do you think, in your opinion, which is more sustainable, a long-term share buyback program that Walmart is doing, or increasing dividends, which Costco seems to be doing?
Well, you get a little bit of both with Walmart, and I've always liked the share buyback. I like the decreasing the share buyback, and with Walmart, you get an increasing dividend every year. Not
Hmm.
as much as Costco, probably, especially with those outrageous special dividends. I mean, that would be fun to get that check. But
Seriously.
long term, ever increasing dividend and ever fewer shares is a powerful draw for me personally.
Hmm. Yeah, and just pure speculation when you mentioned that special dividend here from Costco. Not that you can ever predict it, but if you were going to try to predict one, they had it in 2012, 3 years later, 2 years later, 3 years later. So, Costco shareholders, again, totally speculating, but you might be in store for a special dividend if they can keep things going smoothly in the next, say, year to year and a half. But,
Yeah,
that's,
you absolutely should. And man, that $10 one, that was something.
yeah, right. Yeah. Unreal, especially if you are reinvesting your dividends.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
If you're in a drip, that's great.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, one other question I like to ask people. Well, in fact, before I get to that one, you and I briefly talked about beforehand, Walmart de Mexico. Let me just pull up Walmart de Mexico on here. What insights have you got on Walmart de Mexico?
There's not a whole lot of information on them. I bet your organization had being in early probably knows a lot more about it than I do. But I looked at it because I was curious of how it compared to Walmart.
Hmm.
But it's difficult to analyze the data because it's in Mexico and there's some different things in there, and there's very few followers. As a writer, you're not going to make any money writing about them.
Well, as a writer, it might be one of those what they call long tail articles where you write it today, and then maybe a year people start to actually realize here's a few data, some visuals.
Yeah, I
If
know
you're
it
looking
looks
at my
great.
screen here, so you can see this is a 10-year, 10 or technically 9, but 10-year revenue up and to the right, their EBITDA up and to the right.
Yeah, you like the EBITDA.
Yeah, for sure. Earnings per
The
share
EPS is a little up and
could,
down, but
yep, right. But when you zoom
generally
out,
up.
still up and to the right. And
Yeah,
it's and now I don't know exactly what happened with their dividends here,
yeah. How
but
about that?
yeah, so
The
I
other
don't know.
thing with dividends on foreign companies, you got the exchange issue, and I'm sure that's not it, but
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
always a concern, up or down on a given year.
yeah, I should look in. I actually do not know why they dropped it so much, but again, nice to see so much cash on hand. So but yeah, it's an interesting angle, and I'll be interested if you ever do decide. You let me know. You send me an email, and I'll absolutely reach out to you quickly, and we'll do a little video on it. Just because, like I said,
Okay.
that's been one that our clients, quite a few of our oldest clients, have had for a long time.
Well, now you got me curious. Maybe I'll take another look at it.
Yeah, and let's
Fun.
just pull it up here just out of curiosity. Uh, Here's this, and then we'll compare it just purely on stock performance over the 5 years. So it goes hand in hand, as you can see, with Walmart stock.
Yeah.
If you go up, if you zoom, see, it doesn't even work very well, but just over the last 5 years, it compares. But so anyhow, okay, so one more question I had for you, and I love asking people this on the Seeking Alpha interviews. So Seeking Alpha used to be kind of a wild, wild west platform for authors, especially with the comments section.
Yes.
And have you found when you're writing, or specifically on this one, now I know you didn't have hundreds of comments, but did you see anything in the comments section that added to your opinion of these two, or made you change your opinion of these two?
No, and what I've noticed on Seeking Alpha, and everybody has, we're getting fewer and fewer comments compared to 3 years ago. I mean, 3 years ago, I got 500 comments on an Exxon article. And, now I just wrote one on Apple. I'll probably get 10. So
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know whether people are just not commenting as often as they used to, or whether
Hmm.
there's a filter that Seeking Alpha put up. Everybody, a lot of writers complain, that people criticize them and, blah, blah, blah. But I
The
don't
comment
know why.
sections
It's
can
way
be
down now, way down.
Yeah, the comment sections can really be brutal. I was
Yeah,
reading one the other day. A lady was writing about Tesla, and she was right. She wasn't writing good things about Tesla,
yeah.
and the comment section was just destroying her. And like her criticisms were fair, but yeah, I'm curious if the reason that the comment sections have gone down so much. About 3 or 4 years ago, a lot of websites, Yahoo Finance, disabled the comment section, although I think they've kind of put it back on recently. A lot of other blogs that I would follow just totally disabled the comments out of fear that they would be held liable for what was put in the comments.
Yeah,
So,
some of them were so ugly that it became purposeless to read a lot of them. It's just.
hmm, okay. Now, last question here, Bill. Maybe one of the last questions. When it comes to Costco and Walmart, do you own Costco and or Walmart?
No, I do not own either one.
Okay, cool. So you're pretty neutral on this. Okay, very nice. Um, the only other things I can say when I think about Walmart versus Costco is when I read, and for some reason, Costco is a stock that I watch closely, and I like to read their quarterly reports and watch their slideshow. I know that they are expanding into other countries right now. They're going very, very slowly. I think it was Japan and maybe Korea that they have just recently gotten into in the last year or so, and they have said very clearly, and in fact, I'll pull this up one more time. You can see they said, we are very conservative. We are proud. Let me get back to Costco. Yeah, Costco. They say we are extremely conservative on how we're running our company. And we are very proud of that. And we are in no rush to open new stores. You had mentioned how many stores Walmart has versus Costco, and
Yeah, there's 10
management.
10,000 or something, and Costco has what, 700 or
Yeah, right. Like not even near what Walmart has. But
yeah,
this is it's very clear in their management style when you look at some of these things that
yep,
Costco's, and they say it almost every single quarterly presentation. We're extremely conservative. We're in no rush to be the biggest. We want every store to be perfect. And now, since we are expanding into other countries, we want to make sure that before we just start flooding the market, that we can actually make it work well. So it'll be interesting to see.
I would call that a real plus. And I also would say Japan and Korea would be probably two very good ones to go into.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
So
think
yeah, they're
that's a good
very,
idea.
very much so. Time will tell, but you know what, Bill, I appreciate you making time. Anything that I missed on this conversation that you wanted to mention?
No, I think we covered it pretty good, Ryan. Thank
Very
you.
cool. Well, I appreciate you making time today. People at home, if you're curious about Walmart or Costco, reach out to me. Here, let me show you. Here is, if you want to follow, here is Bill's author profile. You can find him on Seeking Alpha as an analyst since 2015, going on 8 years right now. So,
Wow.
and how many? Let's see. You got 350 different articles you've written. So, you guys, if you like what we're talking about, find Bill on Seeking Alpha. Reach out to me. Reach out to him. But that's all we got for you right now. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on our next broadcast. See you guys.